If you've been feeling stuck in your life lately, like you're not moving forward no matter how hard you try, this conversation is for you. Hey lovely listeners, welcome back to Fluent Career English. I'm Emma, and today we're talking about something many people feel, but don't always understand.
The feeling of being stuck.
Exactly. Not failing. Not completely lost. But just not progressing.
That's a very frustrating place to be.
It really is. Because on the outside, everything might look normal.
You have a job.
You have a routine.
You're doing your responsibilities.
But inside, something feels off.
Like you're capable of more.
But you're not reaching it.
Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like you're working hard, but nothing is really changing?
That's such a common feeling.
And over time, it can affect your confidence.
Yes, because you start asking yourself questions.
Like, what am I doing wrong?
Or why am I not improving?
And sometimes, you don't have clear answers.
That's where frustration begins. Let's go deeper into this. Why do people actually feel stuck?
I think one of the biggest reasons is lack of direction.
That's a strong point.
Many people are doing things.
But they don't know why they're doing them.
Exactly.
They're busy, but not intentional.
And without direction, it's easy to feel lost.
Let me share a real story.
Go ahead.
I had a colleague named Ryan. He was always busy. Always working.
So he looked productive.
Very productive. But one day, he told me something surprising.
What did he say?
He said, "I feel like I'm running, but I don't know where I'm going."
That's a powerful sentence.
It stayed with me. Because it describes exactly how many people feel.
Busy, but without direction.
Yes. And that creates the feeling of being stuck.
What changed for him?
He started asking himself better questions.
Like what?
What do I actually want to improve?
That's important.
And once he had clarity, his actions became more focused.
And that created progress.
Exactly. Let's talk about another reason people feel stuck.
Fear.
Yes, but a specific kind of fear.
Fear of making the wrong move.
Exactly.
That can stop people from taking any action at all.
And when you don't act,
Nothing changes.
let me ask you something, Alex. Have you ever avoided taking action because you were afraid it might not work?
Yes, many times. I remember a situation early in my career.
What happened?
I had the chance to apply for a better position.
That sounds like a great opportunity.
It was. But I didn't apply.
Why not?
Because I thought I wasn't ready.
That's a common thought.
Yes, and later I found out something interesting.
What?
Someone less experienced got the position.
That must have been frustrating.
It was. But it taught me something important.
What did you learn?
Being ready is not the same as being willing.
That's powerful.
And I wasn't willing to take the risk.
That realization can change everything.
Yes, because after that, I stopped waiting for confidence.
And started acting?
Exactly.
Let's talk about comfort zones.
That's another big reason people feel stuck.
Yes, because comfort feels good.
But it also limits growth.
Let me share something from my college days.
I'm listening.
There was a time when I avoided participating in class discussions.
Why?
I was afraid of saying something wrong.
That's very relatable.
I would sit there, listening, thinking.
But not speaking.
Exactly. And over time, I realized something.
What?
I wasn't improving.
Because you weren't practicing.
Yes. And that's when I understood something important.
What was it?
You can't grow in silence.
That's a strong statement.
It is. So I made a small change.
What did you do?
I decided to speak at least once in every class.
Even if it felt uncomfortable.
Especially then.
And what happened?
At first, it was difficult.
That's expected.
But slowly, it became easier.
And your confidence improved.
Exactly. Let's talk about another important reason people feel stuck.
Overthinking.
Yes.
That's a big one.
People think too much before acting.
They analyze every possible outcome.
And that creates hesitation.
Which leads to inaction.
And inaction leads to feeling stuck.
It's a cycle.
Yes, and the only way to break it.
Is action.
Even imperfect action.
Especially imperfect action.
Let me share another story.
Go ahead.
I once worked with someone who had amazing ideas.
But,
He never shared them.
why not?
Because he wanted them to be perfect first.
That's a trap.
Yes, and because of that, he stayed invisible.
That's tough.
One day, we had a conversation.
What did you tell him?
I told him, your ideas don't need to be perfect to be valuable.
That's a powerful message.
Yes, and after that, he started sharing more.
And what changed?
People started noticing him.
That's the power of action.
Exactly. Let's bring this back to our listeners. If you feel stuck right now,
It's not because you lack ability.
it's often because something is blocking your action.
It could be fear.
It could be overthinking.
It could be lack of direction.
But the solution always comes back to one thing.
Taking action.
Even small action.
Especially small action.
Let me ask you something, Alex. What is one thing someone can do today if they feel stuck?
Take one step they've been avoiding.
That's simple.
But powerful.
Because it breaks the pattern.
And once the pattern breaks,
Progress begins.
and that changes everything.
If you are listening right now, I want you to think about one area of your life where you feel stuck.
And ask yourself one question.
What small step can I take today?
Not tomorrow.
Not next week.
Today.
Because that's where change begins. And once you take that first small step, something important begins to happen. It may not feel dramatic.
But it creates movement.
And movement is what breaks the feeling of being stuck.
Exactly. You don't need to have everything figured out.
You just need to stop standing still.
Let me ask you something, Emma. Do you think people expect progress to feel faster than it actually is?
Absolutely. I think that's one of the biggest reasons people feel discouraged.
Because they don't see immediate results.
Yes, and when progress feels slow, they assume nothing is happening.
But something is happening.
Exactly. Growth is often invisible at the beginning.
That's an important idea.
You don't see change immediately, but it's building quietly.
Like learning a new skill.
Yes, or improving confidence.
It doesn't happen overnight.
Let me share something from my own experience.
Go ahead.
There was a time when I felt completely stuck in my routine. I was doing the same things every day.
And not seeing progress.
Exactly. And I remember thinking, maybe this is just how life is.
That's a dangerous thought.
It is. Because it makes you accept something that can actually change.
So what shifted for you?
I started tracking small improvements.
What do you mean?
Instead of expecting big results, I focused on small wins.
Like what?
Speaking a little more confidently. Handling a situation better than before. Being slightly more consistent.
That changes your perspective.
Yes, because you start seeing progress that you would normally ignore.
And that builds motivation.
Exactly. Let me ask you something, Alex. What do you think is the biggest emotional challenge when someone feels stuck?
I think it's self-doubt.
That's a big one.
When people don't see progress, they start questioning themselves.
They think, maybe I'm not good enough.
Or, maybe I can't improve.
And those thoughts are very limiting.
Because they affect your actions.
Exactly. If you believe you can't improve, you stop trying.
And when you stop trying,
You stay stuck.
it becomes a cycle.
Let's talk about breaking that cycle.
That's important.
What is one way to reduce self-doubt?
Take small actions and build evidence.
That's a great answer.
Because every action proves something to you.
Like what?
I can do this. I can improve.
And over time, that changes your mindset.
Exactly.
Let me share another story.
Go ahead.
There was a student I met during a training session. He told me he felt stuck for over a year.
What was holding him back?
He said he kept comparing himself to others.
That's very common.
Yes, and it made him feel like he was behind.
And that affected his motivation.
Completely. He stopped trying new things because he felt he wasn't good enough.
That's tough.
But then something changed.
What happened?
He decided to focus only on his own progress.
That's a big shift.
Yes, instead of comparing, he started measuring his own improvement.
And what happened after that?
He started feeling more confident.
Because he saw his own growth.
Exactly. That's something I want every listener to understand. Your progress is personal.
It's not a competition.
And comparing yourself to others can make you feel stuck even when you're improving.
That's a powerful insight.
Let's talk about another real situation.
Go ahead.
Imagine someone working in the same role for years.
That's very common.
They know their job well. They feel comfortable.
But also stuck.
Exactly. They want to grow, but they don't take action.
Why not?
Because they are afraid to lose stability.
That's understandable.
Yes, but that fear keeps them in the same place.
So how can they move forward?
By taking small risks without losing everything.
That's smart.
For example, learning a new skill. Taking on a small responsibility.
Gradual change.
Exactly.
Let me ask you something. What is one mindset shift that can help someone move forward?
Stop expecting clarity before action.
That's interesting.
Yes, because many people wait until everything is clear.
But clarity often comes after you start.
Exactly.
That's a powerful shift.
Let's bring everything together. If you feel stuck, it's not because your life cannot change.
It's because something is stopping your movement.
That could be fear.
Or overthinking.
Or lack of direction.
But the solution is always the same.
Take action.
Even if it's small.
Especially if it's small.
Because small actions create momentum.
And momentum creates progress.
And progress builds confidence.
And confidence helps you move forward.
It's a chain reaction.
I want to ask you one final question, Alex. What is one message you want every listener to remember?
You are not stuck.
That's powerful.
You are just not moving yet.
And you can start moving anytime.
Yes, even today.
If you are listening right now, this is your moment.
Not a perfect moment.
But a real one.
A moment where you decide to move forward.
even if it's just one small step.
Because that step changes everything.
So take that step.
Trust yourself.
Be patient with your progress.
And stay consistent.
Because you are not stuck forever.
You are just one decision away from moving forward.
And maybe today
Is the day everything begins to change.